Welcome to Own It, Your Business and Your Life, with Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. In this podcast, we're going to cover everything you need to embrace to become a successful entrepreneur, marketing, money, and much, much more. How to create a business doing just what you love. How to own it, your business and your life. This one will be fast, funny, feisty, and very lively. So sit back and enjoy the show. Hello, Susan.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm absolutely fine, thank you. And you, Nicola?
I'm very well, thank you. Looking forward to getting to know you.
Oh, well, stress is on then, isn't it?
No, of course not. You're a listener of the podcast, aren't you? You know we don't do stress.
Yes, well, I know, yes. No, I've been listening. Oh, it must be well over. In fact, actually, I tell you what, when I first started listening, last year when you had guests, I'd kind of then I thought, oh, this is interesting. And then it's like, oh yeah, Judith's away. Oh right, I'll have to listen now to hear what it normally is like, you see.
Yeah. So how did you hear about it? So how did you hear about the podcast originally?
I think a friend of mine might have mentioned it to me. I can't remember. And then around the same time, I started working with Judith as well as one of her small business big magic people. So I think it kind of happened around the same time. Can't really remember, to be honest with you now. So
funny, isn't it, how life leads to things? So,
it totally does. That's been the story of my life, absolutely.
Well, you follow your intuition and marvellous things happen.
Well, hopefully.
So, for the benefit of the listeners then, why don't you introduce yourself, Susan? Tell us who you are, where you are, what you do, and how people can find you, and then we'll crack on with your week.
Excellent. Well, hello everybody. My name's Susan Weeks, and I actually live out on the coast in Hornsea, but it's taken me a long journey to get here. But in a nutshell, I have 4 main hats, which I know sounds nuts and winds Judith up, but anyway. But they're all intertwined. So my main thing at the moment is as a podcast producer, I make it easy for successful entrepreneurs to launch a podcast and turn it into a content creation machine. So something that's very dear to your heart, Nicola, I know, yes. And then additionally, in terms of online marketing, then on a referral basis, so this isn't something I market anymore, but I still, work comes to me from a referral basis. Basically, for online marketing projects, I create clarity, simplify the strategy, and tame technology, and take all the stress and struggle away for business owners. So, for example, I'm working on an affiliate marketing program at the moment for somebody.
Uh-huh.
So,
setting it up for their business.
Yeah, setting it up for the business. And it was something that kind of came out of when they first came to me on a referral. They didn't know anything about affiliate marketing and never thought about it. But as we were talking, I saw it was a perfect opportunity for them. And so that's how I kind of work on that level in terms of strategy and then actually getting stuff done for people.
Yeah.
I'm also the content marketing mentor for vaclassroom.com, who is one of the premier virtual assistant training companies globally. So I'm involved with them. So I support their students in terms of content marketing and generally being an online professional, VA, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. And I've also got my own newly launched podcast called Stitchery Stories. So there we are, 4 intertwined hats.
No. Tell us about Stitchery Stories.
So Stitchery Stories is, I wanted to have my own podcast, but the world didn't need another podcast about podcasting.
No.
So what I thought would be a good idea was, I absolutely love embroidery, textile art. Is something I've been involved with for a long time. And there are quite a few North American based podcasts around those kind of subjects. They call it fiber art. And there's loads and loads and loads of podcasts about crochet and knitting, but not that many British-based textile art podcasts. So that's what I decided to do and started off. I think I released 1 episode yesterday. So I'm on my 5th one now. And do you know what? I'm really pleased at how excited people have been about it.
Wow,
and,
okay.
Getting a good basis going in a few weeks with an area that I thought well, I know a lot of the tactile artists and people who love doing it like doing the subject, but are they online enough to listen and want to know about podcasts or anything like that? And it's taken off far stronger than I expected, so I'm quite excited about
That's
all
awesome.
of that. So.
And where do you promote this podcast about textile art?
Well, so far on my own personal Facebook profile, and that's it.
Oh, okay. Well, I think
I've just started, so that's as far as I've got with it so far.
I think you should definitely have a Pinterest board and put Instagram and Pinterest, and then just make a meme for each episode. If you go and have a look on Own It the podcast Instagram account, which my daughter runs for me, to be fair, I don't do anything. Yeah. You'll see what we do. But I also think Pinterest would be absolutely huge.
Yes, that's one of the things when we get onto project updates. So
cool.
I'm doing this in bits and pieces, kind of in amongst everything else, because this is kind of like me hobby-ish. It's kind of a work-based hobby. Does that make sense?
I wouldn't be surprised if this grew and grew and grew and grew and grew.
Well, I'd be really excited if it does, and then I can kind of stop doing some other things. But I'm well excited. But Pinterest isn't something I've done a great deal of, but I know the audience are there, as is Instagram. Yeah, absolutely. So that's my four intertwined hats.
Right. So if people want to come and find you, let's just give them one URL.
Absolutely. One URL is my podcast website, which is podcastprogress.com. Okay. There we are. That's the simple and easy way to find me, yes.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay, good. So tell me about your week then. What have you been up to as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as a general person?
Well, my week, I have been actually on holiday in Tenerife. So I feel like a total fraud today talking about business, because I've been back early hours of yesterday morning, and I'm dashing off again tomorrow on another week, different kind of holiday this time. So do you know what? My week has been all about doing absolutely nothing. I have been...
Okay, so tell us, that's interesting then. So tell us how you, as an entrepreneur, knowing that you're going away for 2 weeks back to back, how did you set things up before you went, so that you could not think about your business while you were away?
Yeah, that can be a challenge, can't it? Not thinking about your business while you're away. And especially since I've got so many things kind of bumbling along, and I've always got a pile of ideas, like we all do.
Yeah.
So I just basically told the people so that, for example, the affiliate program I'm installing, we said, we knew from day dot, this is when I'm going. So back in April, when we started talking about this, July, August, I ain't going to be here, so we'll plan around it. Yeah, that's fine. So we always knew that, and because of the way I work, I'm running the project, I plan it, I'm doing everything. I give the business owner a few things to do, so it's like, oh, okay, she's not here, great, we'll get on with something else, because they're not embroiled in it all. That's how I kind of work with that. So, and then people who I'm talking to about project start, I've got a lot of things starting off in September, when I've been upfront with people and said, don't bother about, I've got a son who's 13. So as soon as the school holidays start to 21st of July, I'm here, but I'm not really here. If anything crops up, fine, but let's not start anything new. And I'm certainly not starting I'll talk about a few new things, but I'm not doing anything in September. So I am quite strong in terms of my boundaries of when I'm working and when I'm not. I'm a single mum. It's like you've got your child to keep entertained in the holidays. So that's it. So that's how I do it. And as long as people know, that's the thing. You don't just disappear. Although I will say on my one thing I never do is say on Facebook, oh, yippee, I'm going away on holiday next week for a week. I never say that. So nobody knows on Facebook I've actually been on holiday, because I'm dashing off again. So I don't announce in advance to the world that I'm not going to be here. I just go and then say, oh, I've had a lovely week, let's get back on with my work.
Yeah. So. The week goes it's like other people's pregnancies, isn't it? A week goes very fast when in other people's lives.
Absolutely. But I think for me, I was really surprised that I did actually just switch off. I did absolutely zero. I didn't even read. I laid on a sunbed and listened to music. Wow. Jumped around in the pool with my son for a bit, had a few walks, and that was it. I only started reading on the way home when I was like, I had to keep awake on the plane because we arrived at after midnight. So That was it. So I was really pleased with myself. I honestly didn't think about work or any of the other things bumbling around. I did manage to just totally switch off.
Wow, that's amazing.
I didn't check any emails or anything, Nicola, nothing.
Well, I'm very impressed. I'm sure Judith even more so.
So what have you been doing with your week?
I've had quite a nice week. It's been incredibly hot at the beginning part of the week. It was up, I've discovered this AccuView weather thing.
Yes.
It has the actual temperature and it has the feel-like temperature. Which is always much more accurate.
Too hot, yeah. Feels like too hot, yeah.
And the thing is, the first part of the week was what they call officially a heat wave, when they do it bright red across the map when they're doing it. But it was okay, I worked till 2, then went down the beach and getting down the hill in the sunshine is quite a challenge, but you put a hat on and sunglasses, you're good.
Yeah.
And I did overdo it on Friday. I gave myself a day off, but I did overdo it in the sun, even because I was under the sunbed all the time. But I went for a lunchtime swim, and I think I caught it then. So that meant I had to stay off the beach for a couple of days because I didn't want to push my luck.
Yeah.
And that generally going down the beach means I go out for dinner, because once you've walked down the hill, you're not coming back till the sun goes down. So I end up having dinner out, which is lovely because I end up hanging out with people and everything. And but not going down the village means that I don't go out for dinner. So that means I just bumble about at home, which is lovely. But after a little while, you go a bit stir crazy. So
yeah.
But I thought, okay, so I can't go out because of the sunburn. I might as well do something. So I thought, okay, so I've renamed Clicks and Leads Academy to Clicks and Leads Academy, and I might as well do a little mini launch for it. So I wrote a few emails, I wrote a few blog posts, and I started just relaunching it. And I said, okay, so you get the chance, because one of my mentors has been talking to me a lot about monthly memberships versus annual memberships.
Yes.
And I don't want to talk about it too much. So I'm talking about what fueled my fire in the section, but I thought I'll just relaunch it to my list, just because it's got a new name. I'm gonna go to annual membership probably, and let's see what happens. And it went very well. I just wrote a couple of blog posts. I put the blog post up as a post on my Facebook page, got some responses, and then turned it into an ad, which I advertised to my active mailing list and people who had interacted with my website or my page recently, or people who had watched one of my V-zines more than 50% of the way through. So it was a very quick and dirty little launch, and it worked very well. I brought in a few new members, which was lovely. Brilliant. And then Tuesday night, I went to Wednesday. I was really quite busy on Wednesday. I had a 9:30 hair appointment, not a hair appointment, a foot appointment, appointment. And then I had a Greek lesson, and then I had a creative writing group. And then in the evening, I went out for dinner with one of my creative writing group and her daughter, and we went to one of our favourite restaurants, Tavernas. And they had 2 young guys there who I've seen before, and they go around different tavernas. I think Tavernas must hire them. And they are quite young, and the Greek music they play, or they have a classical guitar and a bouzouki, but it's not all, like Greek music usually. Typical Greek music. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot jazzier. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. It's called Repetikos. It's got a special name, and it's like a fusion of Greek music and jazz, and it's really cool. And they came and sat with us afterwards. We bought them a beer, and they came and told us all about it, which is really exciting because my son's coming out soon, and my daughter, and he's a jazzy DJ. So yes, I've remember that he's a DJ, isn't he? Yeah. Well, he does what they call liquid drum and bass and laid back house, and so I'll be interested to hear what he makes of this music, because it might be something that he might want to remix, which is quite exciting. So they're going to be around. So that was very cool. So I've had a lovely week. It's been a typical week in Greece, and I've really enjoyed it. Fabulous. And it just goes to show, though, that nothing ever happens when you're sat on your settee at home. No. You have to go out, and it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing. Something will crop up that will enrich your life, and you just don't know where it's going to lead to. It's just fabulous. And that's why the move here has been so successful, really, because I didn't really go out much at home because the weather's so horrible. And, I'm not one of those people who likes to go out for windy, rainy walks and things. So mad people like me who go running along the seafront in winter at 6 o'clock. Yeah. So it's been really good. So what's fueled your fire this week then?
Well, I would say fueled my fire, possibly, can I just cheat for a couple of weeks ago, was definitely launching my podcast. That had been bumbling along in the background, getting interviews organised and things. And then I thought, I'm going to I didn't want to hit the school holidays, but you know what? We hit the school holidays and it didn't matter in the slightest. I just carried on. And so I was so excited after a couple of weeks. I'd actually had something like 650 downloads. I know we shouldn't obsess about downloads, but I was totally excited about that. I thought, wow. So, and I've had a couple of good reviews, and I noticed yesterday somebody in Tasmania was sharing it with her group of textile people. Bearing in mind, so far I've interviewed 3 people from Yorkshire, like friends of mine, plus a lady who's in Durham. So we've got as far as Durham now, and yet it's already been shared in Canada and Tasmania and all over.
It's almost magical.
So it is, and I've been working online for a long time, and I know things happen, and I've worked on other podcasts, and it's always exciting, but it was just because it was kind of my personal little baby, and I did absolutely every damn thing on it. I was just like so excited that people are actually interested and excited about it. So that really fueled my fire before I went on holiday. So there we are.
Well, I think it's worth taking a moment here because, I mean, podcasts, people think of them traditionally as quite a niche thing. But if you stop thinking about them as podcasts per se and start thinking about them as radio stations without adverts, obviously a lot, some people do put adverts in. In fact, we're looking to find some sponsors for Own It because, some of the costs really.
Exactly.
But it is a miracle. We're in 100 and something countries now. All of those people haven't found us because we haven't been. I might have done a bit of advertising at the beginning, but not for long.
Yeah,
to get it going. But it's all about the iTunes algorithm and the thing where they suggest, if you listen to this, you might enjoy this. It's the Amazon thing, but Tasmania from Yorkshire, isn't it?
It's fabulous, and as I say, all I've done so far is share it with my personal friends, some of whom are into textiles, and they've shared it with theirs. The guests have obviously shared it with their crowd.
Well, you don't say.
And I can see definite spikes when they've done that. And even the night before I went on holiday, I thought, I'll just have a look in iTunes, because I've always thought, because of my audience, which tends to be ladies around my age, who a lot of them are not exactly technically savvy, but they've all got phones and iPads and all the rest of it. So I was thinking, well, I wonder what will happen in iTunes. To me, that was going to be a big mystery. I had no idea what would happen in iTunes. So I've set up a website, and it's an easy way for people to just go to the website, press play. You can listen to the podcast. Let's not get too worried about iTunes. It'd been a week since it'd been in iTunes, and I hadn't finished doing my website, so nothing's happened. I think I'd had about 60 downloads, so it was already getting optimized and found. So I was well excited by that. And, and since then, the night before on holiday, I went and had a rummage in iTunes, and there was to my great delight, in visual arts category, I had two of the 4 episodes was like something like numbers 66 and 78 or something in top episodes. And in top podcasts, I was about number 160. Well, I nearly exploded off my chair. And then, of course, I had to go on holiday, didn't I? I thought, So I put one in yesterday. So we've had a gap. But it's just magic and excited.
Yeah, just for the benefit of the listeners, I'm just gone to podcasts. What section are you in?
I've put it under visual arts, also under games and hobbies.
Okay, there you go. Because you've got your main category, then you have to go for.
Yeah, my main category is visual arts. So I ranked in there. I haven't done very much in games and hobbies at the moment, but because I've had a week off, then I dropped out again when I looked yesterday. So, but.
It's interesting, this whole thing about categorisation, isn't it? Because I'm looking at podcasts, all categories, and then I'm down to hobbies, and I chose games and hobbies, and now I'm going round and round in circles and can't get to anything that looks like visual arts at all. So
that's under arts. So my main category is arts. So
okay.
So there's arts, and then visual arts, and then the separate category is. There we are. So we've got visual arts down at the bottom there.
Yeah. Now, so you really need to be doing, if you can, is get a load of people to review you quickly all at once, because then you'll get into new and noteworthy, hopefully, and you're there for 16 weeks, which will give you a really good go at building up your listenership.
Yes, absolutely. So that's one thing I'm going to start going at when I'm back the 26th of August. So there was no point in really doing much with that, because I knew I was going to be kind of flaky for a couple of weeks and not here. So that's kind of saved up for when I come back. But that would be. But I was just so excited I'd even got in top episodes, to be quite
Absolutely, yeah, because that's where you're going to get some stranger downloads, and we love stranger downloads.
Yes, and there must have been quite a lot. So the thing I'm going to do, and it's boring for people with stats, but I am just going to compare my stats on my website compared to the stats in Libsyn to get the gap, which therefore it will be pretty much iTunes. So I'm just
Libsyn does give you iTunes downloads. So
yes, it does. Sorry, what am I talking about? So it was just to get that idea of how it's going, really. So
I think the very fact that you're getting downloads is going well, isn't it?
I'm over the moon. 650 people have at least downloaded it, and a lot have listened to it. So there we are.
That's very respectable. So you are doing really well so far.
Well, the thing that I have to not compare myself was for years I worked on a podcast to do with actually cosmetic surgery, of all things, and that used to get it's on a rest at the moment, thousands per week, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,000 per week, so it's like, don't compare yourself with that.
No, it's like, I'm working on my Facebook ads agency, Clicks and Leads. I mean, I don't take lots of clients on, but I'm working at the moment with a world famous DJ, because his sort of business partner is one of my mentoring clients. And I'm astonished at the numbers. I mean, he's getting likes for pennies. He's getting clicks for 11p a click. It's the passionate markets, what I call the passionate markets, and the hobbies and the leisure markets are so much bigger than business to business. It's unbelievable.
It is a totally different. It is a totally different world. And I've always thought, it's always been in my mind, do I do something targeting the kind of textile art side of things? And it's always been, it's a how can you say? It's just like a hobby market. What kind of money is there in it? But at least I've seen the interest in this has been a proving ground. So it's just fueled me on.
It's the same old thing. You don't know how to monetize it, but it doesn't matter, because once you get people's attention, the money comes to you. Yeah, because there's nothing businesses want more than to get in front of people who've got the attention of a rabid crowd, kind of thing.
Exactly. So so there we are. That was my fire well and truly fueled.
Well done. Well, what's fueled my fire is this whole annual thing versus monthly thing, because
yes,
I've recently swapped to annual, and I've got this personal dislike of annual memberships. I hate signing up for them. I will do anything I possibly can to avoid it.
Yeah, I heard that last week when you were talking with Georgina. I listened to that yesterday. You're going on about your annual membership and you don't like it. Yeah,
no, I don't. And there's only one person who, my mentors, I have signed up for an annual membership, because when they offered it was such a good deal. And not only that, but you got grandfathered in forever as long as you stay.
Yes.
I suddenly had a ridiculous panic the other day, thinking, oh my God, it's going to come out any day now, and it's only $500 for God's sake.
Yeah.
That's quite a chunk of money in a cash flow, especially when you're in a business, even though you might be on paper earning enough to, cover everything and more. $500 coming out on a random week.
It's the lump, isn't it? It's that cash flow lump, not the affordability. It's the lump. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really resisted it, but then I promoted the option to either sign up monthly, it's going up soon, or sign up for a year and pay a year and get a 50% discount. And loads of people went for that. So lovely influx of cash that wouldn't have been there if I hadn't got sunburnt and decided to do something productive for my weekend. But it was just interesting that some people seem to find it easier to sign up for a year. And from a Fuel by Fire point of view, those people coming in feel different. They feel like they're really going to settle in and for the whole year, and they're going to get their money's worth, and they're going to come to the calls,
turn up. Yeah.
And the other thing I did at the same time was I gave permission to my techie guy to turn on the private coaching section of the website, because I use a forum as my membership site.
Yes.
It's more searchable for a start. That's the real thing, and you can also organise information better.
Yes,
as you obviously know. And but what I did do, it's got this capacity to have a thread in it, which is a private coaching thread, and I've turned it on. So now, for $97 a month, people can not only come and get access to all my training courses, and they can talk in the forum and get other people's feedback, but they now can talk privately about things. What I want to do is encourage people to talk publicly about things where everyone else will learn
from it. Yeah.
But when they've got something that's perhaps financially sensitive or emotionally sensitive, they can just use that private thread for that. And it was a real big decision for me, because I thought, oh no, people will just use that thread, and I have to keep directing them, asking them to make things public. And but I just feel it's the most incredible value for money to get private coaching and training courses and everything all bundled in for $97 a month, or a 50% discount for a year. And so I've redone all my sales pages, all my sales funnels, and that kept me busy over the weekend. Well, only took an afternoon, but
Judith will be yawning when we mention sales funnels.
I know. but it's already started working. I mean, it's something about, and she'll like this bit, it's something about my energetic shift to being ready to commit for a year and ready to commit to private coaching as well. Because I've had at least one inquiry a day from people who've been watching the V-zines, who've come to the website and have now decided that it's time to sign up and get serious. And they are people who are ready to get serious because they're joining up for a year. Yeah,
brilliant. I think that just really shows it. The other side of the coin as well with the annual membership is, say I've had a long-standing relationship with VA Classroom, and a year ago now, we're just coming to the first year, they moved to an annual membership basis. Before that, you purchased courses as and when. They moved to the annual membership last year. And again, it's fantastic value for money. And say there's me and 5 others, mentors as well. So we're doing the mentoring role within there as well. And they've found the reason that they kind of wanted to go to the annual basis is, and they take people on every 4 months. So 3 times a year they take people, because that whole onboarding thing, getting people settled in, and then people are going to be asking the same kind of questions over and over. So put it into lumps of every 4 months, then it's more efficient from the business owner's point of view as well, and stronger for the people supporting them, the mentors, and people get that feeling of
all joining together.
That's it. Yes, all joining together.
Kind of feeling,
so that's been an interesting observation. How I've seen that develop as well. So you may see that as well, Nicola, in terms of the organisational side of things, moving to that annual basis. So it'd be interesting to see.
Sorry.
It sounds positive as you've got going already with it.
Yeah, it does, and it is interesting. I'm actually running Deadline Funnel, which is a timed open and close thing.
Right. Yeah. Same idea.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not 3 times a year. But what I am doing is I've been thinking about this. I really want to upgrade that. When people come in, they say, "Where shall I start?" And what I do is I ask them to tell me about themselves, and that's where so it's very personalised advice.
Yes.
But then I'm thinking it might be nice to do a sort of 6-week, where do I start training course, and just give people an overview of everything. I did have one. It was called Your Best Year Yet.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the whole thing about lead pages and drip, or MailChimp or whatever.
Yeah.
Just because it saves me, as you say, having to answer the same questions.
Same questions. Yeah. That's
so,
right.
but it needs updating because everything's changed. Podcasting is getting bigger. Messenger bots and apps are replacing mailing lists, and
yes.
So I think I might do a whole new one. So the very fact I'm even contemplating that means my fire's been fueled.
Brilliant.
Good stuff. Would you like to showcase your business, product or service to highly engaged solopreneurs and business owners every week? We can offer a 30-second mid-roll slot and sponsorship branding on our website and in our private Facebook group. Just contact Nicola at nicolacairncross.com for more details. So you're bringing the Client Challenge of the Week today, and what have we got?
Well, what we've got is something that I, on many levels, can irritate me and frustrate me. And that is basically how people can get the right level of support in their business. So we're talking typically here about, people would call it outsourcing, using a virtual assistant, using a online professional, whatever you happen to call it. Because do you know what, Nicola? I see people struggle with this time and time and time again. And, the advice is good and strong. And, you're very into outsourcing as well.
I am now, but I didn't used to be for years.
No, exactly. And I think people think that it's like a magic wand, that you can magically find somebody and magically not pay them very much.
Yeah. Oh,
that is on that one. That's going to be part of it. Magically not pay them very much. And do you know what? Within 10 minutes, they're going to be number one in Google, number one in iTunes, or number one in Amazon, wherever the hell it is they want to be number one at. And they've sat back and done nothing. Well, wake up, that just doesn't damn well happen. It drives me up the wall.
Essentially, we're talking about Michael Gerber's delegation versus abdication, aren't we?
Pretty much, yes. It's that kind of thing. And if somebody wants to abdicate, you can't do that when you're paying $5 an hour.
No, you can't do it at all.
Well, not really. But if you at least have a strong person kind of working with you,
yeah,
you can do it to a large extent. But certainly people seem to think they can pay very little and get miracles, and it's just.
Well, it's the same thing, because they've been told that on webinars.
Yes,
it's
endlessly.
The same thing as magic buttons and push button solutions and all that stuff, because they're told that outsourcing is the holy grail of success online, and to some degree it is, because you can leverage yourself so much further.
Exactly.
But it's made to sound easy because people want them to buy things.
Yep.
And they have to make it sound easy because people don't buy things that sound hard. And then where they're going to have to, take responsibility. This is the entrepreneur's dilemma, isn't it? And
it absolutely is. And the thing that I see people struggle with, you see, because I come at this, Nicola, from both sides of the coin.
Yeah, you work with a VA company, yeah.
Yeah, but so I come at that from both sides. Now, from a professional point of view as well. So 30 years ago, I started off as a mainframe programmer for Nissan. Wow. Okay. So I've got that technical computer background, the technical IT background. So I've written code for car factories. I've written code. I moved to another company where I was writing code for the big international banks, okay, and developing systems. So you can't get more, it has to be right than in a car factory and in international banking. All right. So I've got that background. I've managed projects. That's what I still do for people now. I manage projects. I've got that technical background. I then kind of had quite a large career break and then moved on to the online world and thought, well, look, there's all these online things now. How can I take what I know and apply the new, internet marketing stuff? And that's how I've gotten. So I started off calling myself a VA. But right from day dot, people used to say to me, well, you're not like any VA I've ever spoken to. Well, I won't be, because firstly, I'm just me. We're all ourselves, aren't we? So don't compare. But so I'm me, but what you get with me is 20 odd years of professional IT and project management background. That's why I'm not like any other VA you've spoken to, because not many other VAs have got that background. So I can see from the professional point of view where projects fall down and where people start to lose loads of money where they think that original cheap development team is, I'm going to get all this lot done for not very much money. And then they realise that it's creeping on and it's not well defined and nobody's managing it, and that the business owner doesn't have those project management skills. They've never dealt with a team like that. They've never had to run a development project like that. But now they are, because they're the entrepreneur and they've got all these hats to wear. So I see it from both sides. So yes, it's a good thing to outsource. However, you need to be very careful who the hell you're outsourcing to, at what level, and what level of input you're expecting to have. Now, if you're somebody who's never worked with a team before, have never ran a development project before, it's incredibly difficult to all of a sudden think, oh, right, outsourcing is going to be my answer. It's part of the puzzle, isn't it? It's not the whole thing. And this is where I get kind of quite frustrated and cross, because I can see a lot of these projects just going the same way that lots of other IT projects. An IT project, at the end of the day, there's the classic problems and classic holes that happen time and time again. There's and people come to me and say, oh, well, I spent all this money and I thought it was going to be cheap. But then what they've realised is what they got was something that is insecure, is not scalable, is not flexible, has no strong foundations, is going to, it's not being stress tested. So the minute a lot of people start kind of trying to use it, it'll fall over. It's just, on and on and on. Can you tell my frustration here?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I can hear pain. It's interesting because I come at it. I'm a chaotic, creative kind of person. Yeah. But what over the years, because I've been lucky enough to learn over 22 years, and first of all, one thing came along, like, mailing lists.
Yes.
So I learned how to use those, and they're all roughly the same, so I can pretty much use any of them.
Exactly, yeah.
That's where you get used to how software works, don't you?
Yes.
And then, then something else would come along, and then I learned Infusion, so I've learned as things have come along, and the knowledge has seeped in over time. So I'm personally, I've grown used to breaking a project down into tasks, and then knowing which bit needs to be done first, because it's a dependency. That bit can't be done until that bit's done, sort of thing.
Exactly.
This isn't something that's come naturally to me. It's only because I've learned it over the years.
You've developed over years with that skill. Yes.
So I think I found it easier once I got over the hurdle of thinking nobody else was ever going to do anything as good as I was going to do it. Mm-hmm. And then because Neil drummed this into me when I was working with him at Raw Local, and he used to come with these fantastic ideas to market the business. And I used to think, oh God, more work. But actually what he used to say was, don't think, how am I going to do this? Think, who is going to do this?
Exactly. So, the who brings the how. That's what people don't realise. The who brings the how.
If you hire the right who.
Yes.
But what people are doing, which is absolutely what I see all the time with my clients, and what you've talked about there, is they're looking to hire a who knows all the how. And there aren't people like that out there, because if they are out there, they're people like me, and they're earning their own livings, and they've got, because if you can put it all together, as I would think, I think of that person as an ops manager kind of role.
Yes.
They're earning 60k, 100k, whatever, a share of the business, because there aren't many people who can do that. I can name people on one hand that, I could think of that I could recommend, but they're not for hire, because they're running their own business.
Exactly. And that's a problem. And I mean, that's something, because I've got to be quite honest, I am one of those.
Yes, I'm sure.
I am one of those few people as well, because I've got that very rigorous background, and over years, like nearly 9 years, again, learning and constantly learning and working on the online marketing space. As you say, one email program is pretty much like another, one editing suite is pretty much like another, etc., etc., etc. And yes, then it comes down to affordability, doesn't it, as well, or perceived affordability?
Yeah, because people would rather pay less for and find someone not as good than pay more. I mean, for example, I'll give you an example. And I'm sure you'll recognise this. My sister Sarah is genius at all of this stuff. She's a really good project manager. She's really good on tech. She's a what's the word I'm looking for? She's like a dog with a bone when it comes to a puzzle. A technical puzzle, she'll puzzle it out. But what she would expect to be paid is not what people expect to pay for a VA. But what they don't realise is Sarah will take 15 minutes to do a job where someone else of a lower hourly rate would take 3 hours and probably get it wrong at the end of it.
Exactly.
So you've got
exactly
that sort of perceived value versus time inefficiency thing.
And then the thing that I kind of come at it as well with people is what I was saying about, say, the online marketing or even the podcasting, exactly the same. Is what I say to people is, if you think you're going to give me a list of things to do, I'm not the person that you should be working for. It's actually the other way around, because they're coming to me for helping them get their strategy organised, generally getting the whole project up and running, project managing it. If they've got a team, then liaising with them. If they want to get somebody to come and do some graphic design or whatever, I'll do that. I'll organise so they can focus on their creativity and what it is that they actually like doing, instead of trying to run the damn project badly, trying to organise the team badly, trying to, concepts of testings never ever dawned on them, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that's, it's obviously similar to your
I mean, and also when I work with clients on Facebook ads, I won't take anyone on now unless they've got a proven funnel. And first of all, they've got to have a proven product to market match. So they have to be making sales already, because they're not going to want to pay me several £1,000s to set up a Facebook ad campaign on an unproven product. It could go horribly, horribly wrong, and it has done in the past. The other thing is you've got to have a proper marketing funnel set up, because I've had several clients on the Facebook ads front where we've never been able to tell if they're making any sales out of their Facebook ads, because the sales funnel they've got set up, just, you can't put a pixel in the crucial place. So for example, I won't name any names, obviously I'm not going to name any names. Recently, or a very big client of mine, all the sales were being made, and the only way they could tell that a sale's being made was when someone joined up to a membership, but they couldn't tell which sale was leading to the membership conversion, and they couldn't tell which ad was leading to which sale, because they didn't have an individual thank you page for each product. They just lumped them all into the membership area. Little frustrating things like that, and people end up not paying. I had one other client who had a team, and they seemed okay, but they just never managed to get a pixel onto a thank you page so I could see if any of the ads were turning into sales. I said to her once, I said, how are you happy to pay thousands of pounds in click costs and thousands of pounds in maintenance fees when you don't know if any of these ads are turning into sales? She said, well, I know that they must be, because I've got a business and you're the only source of leads. so that was okay. But see, that would drive me crazy, not knowing which ads were turning into sales, which sales were turning into members. I like to see a funnel all the way through, but her team just wasn't capable of grasping the concept, and also every time they changed something in the back end, it broke something else.
Well, that's something that you see so often is back down to that lack of
the big picture overview,
and the lack of the general project management and development skills in terms of code management and code quality. And even when we're linking all of these different tools and things together, it can be done in a haphazard kind of way. You can link anything, can't you? But and I always just sit people down and say, right, I'm going to draw you a diagram, and I get the pencil and the paper out, and I draw the flow and said, look at this hole. Where's that going? Oh, don't know. What we're going to do here? Oh, don't know. Right. Well, look, there's a hole here. There's an opportunity missing here. Oh, yeah, there is. Now I can see it. You couldn't see it before, but when you're relying on a team or an individual who hasn't got that experience and is relatively junior for working for that kind of money, then they are not going to flag those areas up. They will just do as they're told, do as they're being asked, and that's it. And
then they don't think about the ramifications or the consequences of what they're doing.
Exactly. So that's when kind of people then come to kind of get you to try and pick up the pieces. It's
it's like
this is going to cost you a fortune.
But we don't want to sound. Well, I've got a sensation that we're sounding awfully negative.
No, and I don't want to do that. What I was going to suggest was, it comes back down to those elements of
Taking responsibility.
Taking the responsibility. That's exactly it. And questioning, who is this team? Where are they? Because and then you know exactly what it is that you are going to pay for, and understanding things in terms of change requests, for example. What is deemed as a change? Who is going to be managing the project? Who is working on it? Rather than these like nebulous team-based things. So I didn't want it to kind of sound negative.
It's completely changed my life.
Yeah.
Forced into it, and what made me finally grasped the nettle and realised that it had to be done. I had to learn how to outsource effectively. Was when Neil said to me that you're actually doing our business a disservice. You're actually cheating our business, because your time is worth hundreds of dollars an hour, and an outsourcer's time is worth anything from sort of $10 an hour upwards, and you're doing jobs that is costing our business hundreds of thousands of dollars, because you're doing them. Instead of thinking up new ways to make us money, you're doing an Infusionsoft change.
Yes,
is cheating our business of your real skills and expertise. Just the things you could be doing. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So I really got it then, and then that's when I decided, okay, and now my life is transformed, because I do think in terms of, I'd love to do that, who can I get to do it?
Yeah.
Now, an interesting bunch of people has come along, and I'm always very keen on this whole scaling up thing and going global, because software as a service is such an exciting thing. And there is a team who've come along recently who are trying to WP Curve, where you could get lots of unlimited numbers of WordPress changes done.
Yes.
But you had to submit one task at a time, one request at a time.
Yeah.
And you paid a very small amount of money, and that was how they were able to offer unlimited, because it was naturally limited by the amount of requests you would put in, because one person can't put in 300 requests.
Yeah.
So I think there's a key difference. And another company's come along now that's offering digital tech stuff and unlimited design stuff, but you have to submit it one task at a time. Now, I've been recommending this new lot to my existing clients who are still looking for the right VA, because I said this is dramatic, it's very cheap, unlimited tasks on design and tech, which is what you need, but you have to get organized. You have to think, okay, this task needs doing before this task. And what actually my clients want to do is they want to give the whole project off to someone else.
Yes, exactly.
But they don't want to pay for it.
So that's the issue, and that's the other side. Obviously, coming from the VA classroom community, there are a lot of very highly skilled, typically North American and European virtual assistants who that's exactly what. They're a higher skill level resource, and
they're the ones. I think they're the ones you should hire. You should hire a good VA.
That's exactly it. Yes,
to project manage your outsourcers.
Yes, because they also have the skills to know. So if they're an Infusionsoft specialist or a podcast specialist or whatever, they have the skills to know what needs doing. I mean, this is exactly what I do with my kind of referral clients for the online marketing side of things, and the podcasting, exactly the same. I say to them, you turn up and talk, I'll do everything else.
Yeah.
So it's that level. But yeah, VA Classroom, I mean, they have a professional directory up there as well, and you can submit job requests which are vetted, and then the different VAs can apply for those as well if they have time. So that's
a good resource. Can you email that link over to Judith, because I think we should put that in the show notes.
Absolutely, yeah. It's vaclassroom.com anyway.
Okay.
That's a really good source. I'll email that to. It's a very good source of highly skilled.
Because that's what you need. You need to hire a good general VA and then hand over to them. So, for example, when I hired Patricia for the first time, my Portuguese VA, she was amazing. I sent her into Xero. She learned how to use Xero, and then she told me the bits I needed to know. She used to go and find people on Upwork. She would vet the first inquiries. She would then give them a test. I would tell her what test to set them, and she would set them a test. So she was like the real point of contact with the outsourcing team, and it totally changed my life. It means I can do anything knowing that I've got expertise at my fingertips, and I'm willing to pay for it because my life is more important now than that.
And your business is important as well. That's why you're doing this, and your business deserves that, proper attention and to grow as well with the right people.
So, and after a while, you get a team around you who know how you like to work, who can make up for your shortcomings, and who keep you on track. I mean, my sister does my sister and my daughter basically are my team now.
Yeah.
But, that's only because it just happened like that. But their unique skills are great, and I don't want to let them down. So I turn up and do my bit, whereas perhaps I'd let it slide if it was just me. But I don't want to let them down. So I have to do my bit. If I don't stand up in front of a camera for 12 minutes every week, they can't do their bits. So they don't earn if I don't do my bit. So it's an accountability system as well, isn't it?
It is, and that works very well when you look at it in that point of view. Like, from the business owner's point of view, you've got this one thing to do. You need, turn up and talk and do your podcast, or turn up in front of camera and do that. I even used to produce a schedule for the other person. Right, we're running out. We were booked. We'd had some of these recorded, months in advance as well, trying to fit around busy people. Right, we've got a month's worth. Get some more scheduled. Or I didn't leave it to a month. We've got 6 weeks worth left. Come on, let's get some more in now, because I knew about time it had done, we'd be right. So they didn't even have to worry about that. They just sat there waiting for me to say, right, go to his assistant, get some booked in and get them done. So
batching is so much more efficient, isn't it? Doing recording, X number of podcasts in one day is so much easier than doing it one a week, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I suppose it depends on your subject matter, of course, and guests and not guests and all the rest of it. But yes, it certainly does work like that. So hopefully we've kind of given at least some food for thought in terms of what
talk about it for days. I'll tell you.
Well, exactly. What traps to avoid and positive things to do instead. So
yeah, exactly. Nice one. We've only got 8 minutes.
Oh, no, how have we done that? How?
Too long about everything else. Okay, this is a quick bit. Word of the week.
Unplugged, because I was there. I didn't check anything on my phone. It switched off. Nothing. No emails, no texts, zero. Unplugged. There. It was fantastic.
I can't imagine being unplugged.
It was lovely.
Mine is structure, because I like to. It helps my creativity if I have a basic structure. So, for example, creative writing, we just watched a lecture this week which talked about the 5 W's, who, why, what, when, where and how. In fact, it wasn't how, because obviously that's an H. Yeah. But I'm thinking, okay, that's a good, if you're going to do a story outline, for example, that's a good way to do it. And it also works for a PR release as well.
Yes.
Good. Okay, what project updates then?
Project updates. Well, after my second holiday, I am planning for a very busy September. I have got a lot scheduled in there, penciled in. So now it's a question of putting that into an actual schedule, a daily, when I'm going to do things. Plus carrying on with my podcast marketing, getting it into Instagram, etc. And I've redesigned my marketing funnel, and I need to get that implemented. So, yeah. A lot going on in September.
Lots to get on with, yeah.
Yes.
Well, the good news for my project update this week, Judith, is we've crashed back in the What's Hot chart.
Yay.
We came back in at 76. All of your reviews made a difference. Thank you so much. And I had a lovely hour or so reading them. Keep them coming, please, because we've gone up to number 75 today when I checked. And Judith has some lovely ideas for how to reward people who give us reviews. So that will probably be able to backdate that. So to the people who've already given us reviews. So don't stop, don't wait. But thank you very much. It makes a tremendous difference, and that helps us to build our listenership too.
Yeah, so that's something else I'm now going to focus on, as I say, getting some reviews. I've got 2 nice ones. I need a lot more. So yeah,
and making it easy for people to know how to do it, because it isn't that easy.
No, it's not at all, is it? So yeah.
Okay, so who or what's impressed?
Okay, another holiday-related one. Siam Park Water Park in Padas Americas in Tenerife. Fabulous. I had a brilliant day there with my son. It was just absolutely brilliant. I was expecting I was going to get burnt to death in the sun. Lovely. It's shady. It's like a jungle. Very, very good.
I'll have to bleep that out. 12:54, yeah. No, that's fine.
It was brilliant, yeah.
Oh, I've been to that one. I've been to one in near Marbella, but I don't think I've been to the one in Tenerife.
Yeah,
okay,
just fantastic. There we are.
Okay, for me, I went to my creative writing group yesterday, and I've been trying to get the details frantically before the show here, but I will get them before, and we'll get them in the show notes. There are quite a lot of our creative writing group at home are in England, because some of the more savvy Brits leave Greece for 2 weeks. So you don't spend all your time sweating buckets. Yeah. But she played us a lecture, which was the first lecture of 25, apparently. And for $20 a month, you can get access to all the lectures in this. I don't know what it's called, but it's on YouTube. And for $20 a month, you can get access to lectures about acting, or about, you see it flying past on Facebook, architecture.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're an artistic type of any kind, you can get access to lectures on how to be a better whatever you are. And this lecture that we watched yesterday was all about, you know, the 5 W's of storytelling. Writing. And I'm definitely thinking for $20 a month, that's got to be worth getting access to the other 25.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
When I was looking for it, I found a thing called the Write channel on YouTube. The WRIT channel.
Yeah.
Nicola Valentine, she's a Brit, and she's doing interviews with people like Stephen King and stuff like that. So if there's any writers out there, check out the Write channel. And don't forget, you know, if you have a podcast, it's very easy to turn it into a YouTube channel as well. And I think you really should, because some people will never go to iTunes, but they'll spend a lot of time on YouTube.
Exactly, yeah. No, I've got mine. It's easy in Libsyn. It just got it set up to post it up there. And I've been getting quite a few listens as well.
In there. Made me realise, I'm not sure if we're doing that with this podcast, so I'm going to investigate that straight afterwards.
Yeah, it's just one of the destinations in Libsyn. It's quite straightforward.
Yeah, what we do is we do it from our blog, though, so we don't do it from Libsyn. We don't publish from Libsyn, but I know that you can do it. So
it's honestly a couple of clicks. It's easy.
So does it just put your sort of picture on it then?
Yes, it puts the you can submit a wide screen image.
Okay.
And it puts the widescreen image instead of the square thing. You do a widescreen image, and it puts the image up there. And then I just tend to go in and kind of twiddle around and put language and destination and date and all, just a few other extra bits and pieces in there, and tidy it up a couple of minutes. But and then because people listen, don't they, in YouTube as well?
Yes, people forget that. People use it as a television channel where, you know, I was at the salon the other day, and she had a YouTube channel playing in the background there.
Yeah, so there we are.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And just remind everyone they can find your podcast is called...
My podcast is called Stitchery Stories, and you can find that at stitcherystories.com, and you can find me at podcastprogress.com to help with your podcasting, and the rest of the stuff is, and the vaclassroom.com is the resource, and I'll email Judith that link as well.
Fantastic. So you can put it in the show notes. Thank you very much. We've just brought it in under
I know, we've done well.
A miracle.
It's been very enjoyable, Nick. It's been lovely talking to you after all these times of listening. So thank you so much, and hopefully people get a lot out of this.
Yeah. See you soon.
Cheers. Bye, Nicola.
You've been listening to Nicola Cairncross and Judith Morgan. The podcast is called Own It, Your Business and Your Life. Do come and visit us at ownitthepodcast.com. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can find out more about Judith and visit her on her website at judithmorgan.com, and you can find Nicola at nicolacairncross.com.